Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 10th day of May. A lot of graduations coming up. Congratulations to Vanderbilt University students here. Let's see. Having some notifications here, folks. Let me make sure and clear out some of these bad apps here. But anyways, graduation weekend for a lot of you colleges. Congratulations here. Going to talk about with Carlos Mandioca if he comes in. Haven't seen him in yet on the back studio, but I'm sure he'll be here shortly. Just going to go over this week's firings, the Patrick Beverley situation. The Knicks seem to be banged up like nobody's business, but they're still up 2-0. So we'll go over that and a little bit more. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and I'll be back here in 49 seconds, hopefully with the Mad New Yorker here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Alrighty then. Okay, now I'm back here live. All right. Carlos has not came in yet, and I do not have a text from him, but we shall see. Guys, pretty reliable coming in. We'll just kind of play it by ear until then. Okay. Last night, Boston Celtics thought they were going to win coming into the second half of that game. They're down by 12 points. And like the great Dennis Green would say, they are who we thought they were. So I'm watching the third quarter. The show's over with. I'm done with this show, and I'm watching some stuff I got recorded, and I'm flipping back and forth. When the game would go on commercial break, I'd go back to whatever I had, 2 or 3 things I had recorded, and then when a few minutes would pass, I'd go back to the game last night, the Celtics and the Cavaliers. And, okay, so they're down by 12. No big deal. You're at home, down by 12 to a Cleveland Cavalier team. I don't believe Jared Allen even played last night. He's been out for a couple of games. I thought, yeah, they'll get it together. They'll focus in. And sure enough, pass, 3-ball, brick, rebound. Cleveland goes down to score, pass, 3-ball, brick from one corner. Then you'll see a brick from the other corner here. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is the same old Celtics here. I mean, I just don't. So the league goes from Celtics down 12 to Celtics down 14, 16, 18, 22, 20. And I'm thinking, don't you guys realize you're at home? And why are you continually to shoot that 3-ball? Beats all I've ever seen. They're trying to shoot themselves back in the game instead of, okay, tonight the 3-ball's just not following. So let's get the ball inside. Let's get some cutters to the rim. We don't have Porzingis. I know he's not been playing. He's hurt. But we know that Jaylen Brown has a good drive to the rim. A very talented. You have a very talented Jason Tatum with his Euro step, with the floaters, the scoop shot. You know the talent's there with those two players. And Hal Horford just sit pick and roll after pick and roll and get the ball to the rim, try to get some home calls, try to get to the free throw line. The three, instead, Pickles, they're just shooting threes. Bump, bam, three bouncing off the rim. And what do you know it? Okay, let's see. Carlos tells me he ain't got the link. Let me go ahead and see if I can see if he's got it. I could have swore I sent it to him. We shall see. To Carlos from... It's there. Okay, Carlos. If not, I'll send him another one while we are talking here. But it's the same old thing. A head coach gave up 5 minutes remaining. I mean, blown out at home. What? And I put this on the X app here. Okay. I put this on the X app. What 1 seed, Pickles, at home, overall 1 seed, not 1 seed in the East. This team won, 64 games? What 1 seed loses that bad at home in the second round on the playoffs? Who does that, man? How can you trust these guys? Let me see if I can try sending him this again while we're talking here. To the Mad New Yorker folks. To MAD Carlos, where you at, buddy? Let's see if we can get him going here while we're live here. So that's why I've got Minnesota listed, Pickles, as the favorite to win this thing. I know they're going to play again tonight. Maybe Denver will bounce back and win a game tonight. We'll see how that plays out. I think Minnesota's going to beat them probably in 5, maybe 6 games. I don't think they'll sweep Denver, but hey, who knows? I know that Jamal Murray's dealing with the hamstring injury. And I'm seeing what Carlos, he keeps sending me texts. Let's see if he comes out. If not, we'll go to another commercial break, and I'll get him squared away, and we'll tighten this thing up. But, Mazzulla just threw in the towel at home. Yeah, who does that? Who does that? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result. Brad Stevens, who I guess is in management now, I'm sure it's his guy. He doesn't want to be admit, as smart as he is, he does not want to admit, hey, this guy's too young. He's over his head. This team is championship ready now. And there is the Mad New Yorker switching gears here, taking you right into the conversation. Good Friday, Chief. What do you think about? What do you think about Boston getting blown out at home like that? Is that one of the worst outings by a home team with their record in the second round that you've ever seen?
No, I mean that I've ever seen. I don't think so. I mean, there's been a few games that we've seen.
They're the number 1 overall, and I want to tell this to the audience: they're 15-15 at home. Since 2001 in the playoffs, or 2021, the last 3 years, they're 500 at home. They have like attention deficit disorder or something up in Boston. What's going on with these guys, man?
I don't know if you remember, because it's not a very popular series, but I don't know if you remember the Lakers versus Orlando.
Yeah,
there was
back in 2010 finals.
Yeah, there was a game that Orlando just didn't even look like they were ranked. They didn't play like they were a ranked team at all.
Because they were living by it. I talked about that with my dad. I remember he was telling me they can't shoot like that forever. Yeah, and they didn't. But I was telling the audience yesterday, Boston, they were down by 12. That's still doable. Right. That's no big deal in the NBA. First of the third quarter, they're still shooting threes, brick, brick, brick,
Right.
brick. And I'm thinking, get the ball inside, man.
I mean,
building a house over there.
right. It's a different time, Robert. Like, it's a different way of playing basketball. It almost feels like if the coaches went to an AAU tournament and to a Pac-10 basketball tournament and was like, this is the new way that we should.
It is like a Pac-10 basketball. It
like,
does, right?
This is a new way we should play basketball. Like, I mean, no offense to the Pac-10, because it's not every team that plays like UCLA, right? So, but and I'm not trying to offend UCLA either. Like, don't get it twisted. It's just when we're used to seeing basketball played a certain way, watching games like even in college, like Duke and UNC, like. Remember, these are the teams, these top-rated teams, even in the NBA, like they can lose. Just because they're top-rated doesn't mean they're going to be undefeated. And I'm not sure what basketball team people were following where they know that they were going to expect to win and go all the way through. I haven't seen too many blowouts and too many teams in NBA playoffs that are just like, we'll go straight to a championship and beat all the teams.
But just my thing is, why continue to shoot that three ball when it's not following? That's some of the most frustrating stuff I've seen with this Boston team during their playoff run over the last 3 or 4 years.
And then, so who? And you also have to see who's shooting the three. I've been here and I've been on different shows, and I've said that Porzingis being on the team will hurt them more than will help.
Well, he's been hurt anyways, so
but the idea of him standing on the 3-point line and not giving you that spacing that you need for Tatum could cut through any of those defensive like lineups, but I mean he's got to take it upon himself. Brown has to do better. Brown has to stop shooting the ball and attack the basket. I mean, you're right, Robert. You're right. You got two of the most potentially best attacking players available in the playoffs, and they're not they're nowhere near the rim. Attack the rim, get the fouls, wear out the team and defense, do all the grit and grinding.
It's a total opposite of your Knicks, where the Knicks will just go to the rim. If it's not following, if DiVincenzo can't pop that three, they'll get it to Hart or Brunson, do a little floater in the lane there, and
So if you look at the Knicks shot selection, they're shooting 12 to 15 footers consistently.
Yeah.
And then they'll
not 30 footers.
Right. And they're using the 3-point. They'll use the 3-point and they'll try sometimes if they're behind to shoot the three and they get lucky. Because I think for them also their 3-point shooters are a little bit more proficient. DiVincenzo is a little bit more proficient.
Yeah.
Brunson can shoot the three, but he shouldn't be stepping back there and just popping threes all day. There's been a game or two where he shot one too many threes, I feel like, but that's okay. If that's the guy who's going to carry the team and load and
right.
He most of the time doesn't take a bad shot. He's known for not taking bad shots. So, but that doesn't mean that he's not taking too many shots. So
back to Boston. Are they the favorites still to win the championship in your eyes, or do you think that it's probably like a Minnesota or somebody?
Yeah. So this year I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be the opportunity. Everybody has an opportunity. The table's not set yet.
So you don't think, you're not that impressed with this? What, they 6-0 now in the playoffs, Minnesota?
Yeah, they're very impressive right now, but they're not in the East. So Well, I'm
talking about to win the whole thing.
Yeah, to win the whole thing.
I think it's Minnesota. If you still want to stick with your play, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, and can Boston go through these next two teams and not get tired and have, because they're a little bit older than the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are a little bit younger than them as far as the players who are who have.
Well, no, I mean the roster. Everybody thinks that, and I did this too before I actually looked at the numbers here. There's this notion that everybody on Minnesota is Anthony Edwards' age, he'll be 23 August the 5th.
Right.
But if you look at guys like Karl Anthony Towns, 28 years old, 30, he's going to be 31 this year. Rudy Gobert, who's the sixth man in the year, he'll be 25. Naz Reid, Jalen Daniels, those guys are all 25, 26. So they're older players. The youngest guy is your biggest, most talented guy.
Right.
But then you got Mike Conley running point. He's 36. So it's really a veteran team. Edwards don't have to carry this team. He's just got to play well. He don't have to put the brunt on his shoulders. He's got some vets around him.
But
that's my argument for Minnesota right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, compared to Boston, who has a better leverage and has more opportunity? Tatum, with the kind of player that he is, or Towns with the play making, because they're only 2 years apart anyways. They're not that much.
Right.
So and the teams are different. They're kind of different.
I just don't like the coaching. That coach is too young. He does not get in the rear end when they're taking 3-ball after 3-ball. Maybe he's calling them plays.
I mean, you're not going to see You're not going to see any coach be a Bobby Knight, be what's this guy's name?
At least correct them.
Yeah, but
you don't have to go crazy like Bobby Knight.
But even this guy, what's his name, who coached the 76ers in the
Larry Brown.
Yeah, they're not.
I love that guy.
These guys, they're not. And even the guy who coached the Nuggets for a while, they're not. These new coaches, they're not old school coach. They're different. They come from they cut a different kind of cloth, man. They're not in your face. They might not do it at the game, but they'll do it maybe in practice.
Yeah.
But also you have to understand who's on the team as well. So
I know I really hate this NBA, man.
So it's like,
it just
like you and I are like, all right, backs against the wall, pick your shoulders up, attack the basket, get some fouls, get shooting some fouls, get yourself, mentally in the game, feel the ball out a little bit, make sure you can, shoot, don't shoot the three, work your way from the inside and go out, right? That's basic basketball, but there's nothing basic about what these guys are playing nowadays. It's just shoot until you make a shot, and the guy who makes the shot is the guy who has a hot
the volume. Well, I think it's kind of changing between Denver and Minnesota. They went big. They're playing the post. You got two bigs there, and it worked out. Everybody thought that was I'm saying this. Watch Denver come back and beat them, but
I don't feel like those teams are set either. I feel like those teams could go back and forth. Those games will probably go +5 for sure. I mean, they don't look like it right now, but I feel like there's going to be teeter-tottering around a lot for these both divisions. The NBA in the East and then in the West division. So
yeah,
I mean, how about this? Expect to watch a different game every single day, right? And that's I guess that's the best that NBA can do, considering the players that are on the teams, and the star power is the newer stars, right?
What's your thoughts on the Knicks injuries right now?
They're affecting the way that they're playing against the George Karl. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
George Karl, love George Karl.
Yeah, but they ain't nobody gonna play that kind of defense, man. So like, like you can't like what do you get?
I mean that's one of them where Carlos is right. Heavy minutes there, and a lot of the players are hurt. Brunson is banged up.
I don't know how to say. I don't know how to say
Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's still out with his hamstring injury. AJ Anunoby or whatever. Yeah. They're playing tonight. They're playing right now.
Yeah, they're down a lot, and then it's bound to happen.
And I figured that I didn't think they would sweep Indianapolis anyways. I said it'd be a 6 or 7 game series.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but people here in New York, man, they're just ready, man. They've been acting a fool when the playoffs started by saying we want Boston, and it's okay. Like, I feel like the fan base is gonna try to pick up the team a little bit, and that's good. But there has to be a reality sit in sooner or later, and right now is the sooner, because the team is young, but the team is tired, man. They've been running back and forth. They're gonna need this is the point of the NBA where, like, you're the guys who've been playing the most minutes have to kind of slow down a little bit and just kind of use your bench, like spread the work out a little bit, so that way you get to the final round. Everybody has playoff experience. Everybody, can help you. You don't want to you shorten the bench, but when you shorten the bench, you leave out experience for players who could possibly help you. You don't ever know what the potential the young guys can do, and if you don't let them play for the potential. What you see in practice from a guy.
I think they're falling apart. I mean, I like them, but I think there's a potential they could end up.
Wheels falling like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
they're riding on flat tires. They're running from the police, but you're starting to see the sparks come up from the rims. I mean, the tires are totally off now. There's no rubber,
The screeching of
they're running the police or their injury bug. You know what I'm saying?
What are you gonna do, Rob? Like, there's no right way to play a playoff game when you're Tibbs, because you think you know what you're doing until you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I keep saying that. People are like, "Oh, he would be a great coach in college," and that's about as far as I can say.
Bickles is right. I mean, it is what it is. You've got Bogdanovich is out, Mitch Robertson, he's out. Brunson's banged up. He missed some time there. Obi-Wan Kenobi's not going to play tonight. He's got a hamstring injury. I mean, Pickle says it's wheels off like Daytona, You're seeing sparks fly everywhere. It's a double-edged sword. I like the fact that they play all out. They play that level of intensity. You could tell the fans are really into it.
Yeah.
They look like the 90s again. That kind of energy that Tibbs and this group has brought. But the flip side is you're going to have to go deeper in your bench. And they got to get a pit stop, Pickles, to do a racing.
And not for nothing, but they got a couple guys there that can play more minutes than Miles and then Agwani. But it's not just them playing minutes. It's them playing minutes and playing smart basketball, which they're not gonna have that much experience.
Tibbs don't trust him, but he's gonna be forced to rely on somebody.
And then when even Tibbs, like, even 2 years ago, when they made the playoffs and played Atlanta, I was like, I'm in this mind frame, and it might sound old school, but if you got the players on the bench, play them. I mean, if you don't want them on your bench, move them.
Yeah, right? Good point.
Like, what are you doing holding on to guys? Or just, this ain't college basketball. We don't need to see guys dancing and prancing and giving high fives.
Like they're doing around the horn.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Well,
it's hard for Brunson to score. Brunson put these 40 points. This reminds me of Michael Jordan, like 1989 against the Cavaliers, or whoever. It's hard for him to keep balling like that.
Right.
I do like what they have. They need a forward. They need wings. I said this they need a guy like a Bobby Portis for the Milwaukee Bucks. Or how about this guy? Brandon Ingram is expected to be moved. Knicks fans online hated it when I brought that up.
Yeah,
what do you think about somebody like Brandon Ingram being a New York Knick next year?
No, I want to Kemba. I wanted that guy from Golden State, man. That's the guy I wanted.
Who?
Want to Kemba, the guy who played in Long Island. I don't think I'm saying his name right. Let me.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that's who I wanted. He's young and he's from Long Island, and he's.
I'll be able to find him in just a minute.
That's I don't know why the Knicks.
But is he a forward? Is he a true forward? Is he a stretch?
I think he could. I think he's a stretch, and I think that he has a lot of upside and potential because he's still young.
Kuminga. Yeah, he's a power forward. Yeah.
I like him. I like that he's an effort guy. I like he
16 points, 4.8 rebounds.
Yeah, he would get more had he not been playing on a team that loves to shoot threes. Like he gave Steph Curry a lot of opportunities when Klay Thompson was on a bum, was being a bum leg there. So like
Pickles likes Ingram too. Ingram's more talented than Kuminga though.
What I don't like about Ingram is like the mentality of hustling. Like when it's down and you're down and gritty, it's like.
Don't you think he would buy into the program, being around those Bulldogs?
You can't hope guys buy into the program. You got to find guys that are already part of.
So you think Kuminga would be a good fit? He would fit this culture.
Yeah,
They definitely have to get a right culture guy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So
like Portis is all out. I love Bobby Portis. Kuminga may have a better upside than him though.
What I say about, for instance, when I tell people talk about Randall, like, oh, well, he's an all-star, blah, this and that, and I'm like, but he's putting a guy like Randall on the court with the team that you already had. He slows the game down. He takes obnoxious, he makes obnoxious moves.
Oh yeah, he's played his last game.
And it's not positive and forward. It's like hoping, and then you want him to take over the game, so you just feed him the ball, and he could have scored 30 points, but he scores 20 points, and you're like, bro, you left 10 points on the floor because you're trying to shoot 3-pointers. Like we don't.
That he kills me in the playoffs, man.
And I'm like, I was always like, yo, just if anything, if New York want to do anything, send him back to LA, it's not that. And again, I don't want it makes it sound like I don't like
Ingram's 25-5. I mean, Ingram wouldn't be bad.
I just don't know,
and he don't have to carry that team.
No, he doesn't.
That's Brunson's team,
Right. I'm looking at effort. I'm looking at are you going to go that extra mile? Because everybody's already on go. Like they're on go mode. They're ready to play the extra 10 minutes a game. Are you going to do that? And to which I say, if you got players like that, you should back up and take a pause, man.
Yeah.
Coach is killing them, bro. I mean,
he's 26. He'll be 27 September 2nd. I mean, Ingram's right in his prime. I definitely don't want to go after Zion.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zion would really hurt himself because Tibbs would push him to the wall, man.
I know. He would quit because he'd be like, I'm actually in shape.
He would quit.
I'm actually in shape. Now I can go on the GQ magazine thing.
Right. So I was just wondering what you was thinking. I think they could possibly still win this series, or they could lose it in 6 because they're falling apart physically. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. What do you think about the Lakers firing Ham there? Darvin Ham there, the head coach there, after only 2 years. Sounds like LeBron's behind this, but nobody knows for sure. Man, I tell you, I thought that was nonsense. They played the best defense under this guy.
Yeah. What I heard from these national telecasts is that they said that they asked LeBron James and Davis, and both of them said that they weren't happy with the way he handled the team, in the last fourth quarter, and how
his substitutions and all that.
And I'm like, and that's what reporters were saying about about Ham and White, because the team's not gonna back him 100%, and that could cause some negativity. And I'm not, to me, and to which I say, you're the Lakers, man. You can get all kinds of players from anywhere. Even force kids to come out from school to come play for your team, and you're worried about a coach like. What the problem is that the Lakers are so indebted to these huge contracts that they can't make moves to make their team better.
Yeah.
And the two guys holding them back are the two probably most oldest players that they have on the team. And not to say that they're not good, but LeBron's
going to be 40 this year. And Anthony Davis. He's fortunate to be healthy as much as he has these last 2 years.
And I give him a lot of credit for trying to stay healthy and trying to stay on the court. But what two teams in the NBA, and not out of like...
That's a good point. I heard that today too, Pickles. About Russell and LeBron. It's just, I mean, this is LeBron's fourth coach, man, since he's been a Laker.
What two teams?
8 years.
For these two players, what team would want them on the roster and say that they're gonna go and make a?
AD would be really good with the Knicks, man.
No, please.
Because he plays good under the rim. The Knicks need that rim protector, man.
It doesn't. The rim stuff doesn't matter if you don't have the stamina and you're not gonna go back and forth. Because then that means that Anthony Davis is gonna play what, like 10 minutes, and that's it, because that's
36, maybe.
He won't. He can't.
You don't have to push him like you pushed the 20-something.
But the problem is you lose the continuity of the team, and you lose the idea of who is running the right now. The game's running through Brunson.
Aren't you playing like 3 guards anyways?
Yeah, but that don't mean you can just stick Mutombo on a team because it had 3 guards. Like,
I think they need some inside-outside game.
Maybe Sabonis. I would maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now you're being wishful. That's just
What I'm saying, you're talking about.
Hey man, just get the Joker. I mean,
because I'm talking about like not just age.
If you can move him in a trade, yeah, sure.
Is Anthony Davis known to be a good passer? Is Anthony Davis known to be a good passer?
I think Davis has came a long way. LeBron is the problem there. Nobody wants to admit it. LeBron runs out of gas. He runs out of gas towards the end of the. Darvin Ham has got that team to play defense like I've never seen before. And do you want to give the organization credit for bringing in Vanderbilt, Hachimura, good defensive players? But these guys got to buy in. And he had those players buying in. People want to talk about his substitutions and all that. No, I just think this really hurts LeBron's rep, and he is who we thought he was. He's turned into a coach killer, very passive aggressive guy.
The Lakers are not in a situation right now. They're in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
Right? If they lose LeBron,
maybe Jenny Buss should just sell the team, dude.
If they lose LeBron, they lose the opportunity of making millions of dollars on the fact that he's going to retire in his last goodbye trip around the NBA. If they lose LeBron, they lose commercial money. They lose all the extra that LeBron brings because of his brand, right?
Yeah.
If he leaves, so that's why they're doing everything and anything they can to keep him, because it's gonna add value to the bank.
Who do you think they should pick up then? JJ Redick, who's not even been a coach.
They already got a coach. They just signed a coach.
Who'd they sign?
Buckholzer.
Oh, Buckholzer.
Yeah.
No, I think he was going to Phoenix, actually.
Oh, Phoenix.
Yeah, Buckholzer is going to go. That's the former. Look at all these retreads, by the way. Yeah, Phoenix fired Frank Vogel after 1 year. They moved DeAndre Ayton, thinking they want to pick up Bradley Beal. They should have kept Ayton. They would have been fine. They didn't give Vogel a chance, and then they bring in Budenholzer, who was fired last year from Milwaukee, but has got a championship under his belt. Well, so does Vogel. That feels like a lateral move, if you ask me.
It's like it was. I saw him pop up as one of the hopefuls, and then they got
Budenholzer went to Phoenix, and
and then
the Suns are still, they're
looking like Kenny Atkinson.
Or the Lakers are still without a coach here. I wouldn't want to take that Laker job. Would you?
I mean, you know that you don't have that much talent and potential. You're like stuck.
Yeah, and it's hard to please LeBron, and it's just what I said earlier. Don't you think? Okay, 4 coaches, 8 years. You're hiring Kobe Bryant's agent for general manager, player personnel guy. You're going. 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, they say Darvin Ham's fine. He's not going to get fired.
Then they fired.
Then this time last week, Darvin Ham's fired. Okay. Jenny busts whichever side of or whichever girlfriend gives her some good advice. She reminds me a lot of my sister. Oh, girl, what do you think I should do? Okay, I'll go ahead and fire him, bring him in. Hired Magic Johnson with no experience. She's losing control of this team. Colin Cowherd said that she's the poorest owner in the league. That's the biggest brand in the league, but she's technically the poorest owner. The richest owner owns the Clippers, ironically.
Right. And then that's the reason, too, that they can't just let go of LeBron. And LeBron has leverage, right? Because they're
a little bit. I'd let LeBron go a year ago. What are you kidding me? But I'm not a big LeBron guy. I mean, I just –
it's the idea
they kind of make this thing up as they're going along is what I'm telling you.
It's the same thing that Golden State has with Steph Curry, right? Because it's like, well, when can we let him go? Like, should we let him go? Like, he's the face of the franchise. He's the guy.
Right. Then I just read earlier, you mentioned Budenholzer. All those old heads with Phoenix, they're going to keep all them together. I mean, these guys are injured. I mean, everybody from Phoenix, most of that team is parking in the handicap parking.
You can go back to last year, and I said it to you. They're more closer to the ER, going to the ER than they are winning a championship. Remember I said that?
I mean,
and then they got older.
Bandages on Bradley Beal.
And then they got older. Like, they got guys, instead of getting younger, they got older.
Something Pickle says she could get a lot of money for the Lakers. I'm saying there's a chance she could sell the Lakers.
There's always a chance.
She's not Dr. Buss. She's Jenny Buss.
The bus.
Right.
Bus.
She'd be better luck running than Jenny Craig. You know what I'm saying? So I just she's better than her brother, but that's not saying much. So it's I just thought what you thought about that. Frank Vogel, of course, he's the fall guy for Phoenix, and they went with Budenholzer. Do you have any comments on Patrick Beverly getting a hand slap suspension for throwing that ball at two fans?
At two, not one, but two.
Yeah, hit a woman in the head with the ball, man.
You know what's crazy is that he was more accurate throwing at fans than he was throwing at his own teammates. Like,
that's true.
I'm like, come on, bro. Like, you made terrible passes in the last few games, and now this game you hitting somebody not even on your team at the perfect.
Yeah, target. One of the fans said when they're doing their last timeout, he's saying Cancun on 3. When they're doing the huddle.
That's what he says, and I'm like,
they shouldn't overreact for something like that. I mean, they didn't have Damian Lillard, they didn't have Giannis. What do you expect?
But
throw that ball and hit some old woman in the head with it.
Yeah, I sat here and I told you, like, how is that team gonna be a championship team if they got older instead of younger? I sat here and I said that to you. I was like,
right. I said the same thing about the Warriors. You know,
I was like, they're gonna be there, but they're not gonna compete because they have no. Look, I like Lillard. I think he's been one of the best point guards in our generation. I felt like
shooting guard, yeah.
And I felt like he got stuck being in Portland. But that he stayed there, and that was on him. That was a choice he made. He could have left twice. And then he just stayed, which is okay. Like you did what you did, and you get what you get and don't get upset. But come on, man. Like, had he been on any other team, do you think a guy like Lillard would help Dallas at this moment? Or even the Celtics?
Well, he would help the Miami, somebody like that.
But because a team like Miami is so intricately like just coached in such a manner where it's about scheme more than it is about the player, right? So
right.
But there's not many teams like Miami.
What's your thoughts on Beverly? Do you think? I think he should have got the year suspension, like everybody was saying.
I think from my perspective, and like I'm watching the game, you don't want to see that from players, but you don't want to see that from fans either. So even if they gave him anything, that fan shouldn't come back.
The fan never did anything.
It don't matter.
That's background noise, heckling.
You got to make. I
said maybe they put a security guy over there.
If you're the NBA and you're an owner, you got to set precedent because you got to protect your players too. That's as much as the players got to not.
Yeah, but nobody threw the ball at him.
It's the point of like, guys have to get the fans have to get to a point where they understand that they're just you pay for a seat, you don't pay to be messing with people, right? You know what I'm saying? So.
He could have called security over there. He had no business.
That's another thing too. Is like, and those
the NBA's greedy. They shouldn't have pit fans that close. I've always said that.
That's true. That to me is what the NBA needs to look at. There shouldn't be anybody on the near the court at all. Like for a lot of reasons, because you see now these playoffs. You see how many coaches get.
Oh, you're like Adam Silver. You just think it's okay. Just 4 games is fine. Just knock the hell out of the fans.
Listen, like if you're gonna say something, even if it's something small to you, you don't know what the other person's gonna think. Right? So you got to be careful what you say. Like, look, I live in New York.
I know a lot of them are drunk and obnoxious.
Yeah, I live in
I'm
New York.
okay with putting a cop over there between the bench and there, but he also acted like he was going to punch that ESPN reporter, or he was coming up in a threatening manner where she said, "Well, you need to subscribe to my podcast before I answer your questions." Ladies, just holding the camera, a microphone. She's not trying to pound him for questions. Somebody else was asking him a question. He wouldn't let her put the microphone. I mean, this level of entitlement just. God,
yeah,
man.
Well, and to that point is like, what he gets, he should get extra because he went the extra mile.
Yes.
As far as being
3 incidents in one night, and he got 4 games for that. Are you kidding me?
But
Pickles says 25 games will change a player's mind.
Yeah, them
82 games, Pickles.
Them games.
He's got a reputation. He's pretty close to freaking Draymond, man. But Draymond never did hit a fan with the ball, though. I mean, he's choked a few players and punched one out. You there?
I mean, yeah, I'm here. Like, and I hear you. Like, you can. I mean, I think there's 2 wrongs in this situation. You know what I'm saying? And there's no right way to look at it and try to come out clean. Like, the fan looks like an idiot. The player looks worse than the fan. The NBA looks terrible because they have terrible fans and terrible players. Like, there's no, there's no whipped cream to this nice,
I said yesterday that somebody like a Pat Riley needs to be the commissioner. Pat Riley says. Somebody asked him, well, hey, you going to stand Jimmy Butler? He said, well, we need a guy to play every night. Jimmy Butler ain't played over 65 games. Of course, he got heat from that. You're supposed to coddle these guys like they're just little gentle souls. That's why I like the NFL culture so much better, man. It's just next man up, tough your way through things. This coddling, Colin Cowherd said, Adam Silver is like the dad who gives the kids ice cream for breakfast. David Stern would have hammered him for that.
Yeah, but
the former commissioner.
The David Stern, he coddled the right people. He didn't call everybody. So,
But anyways,
look, I say this, and I want to, and we have to.
It's all right, man. If you want to coddle the players, the players,
we have to be fair.
I don't want to.
We have to be fair because there's no way in my mind. I think that if you're heckling a player to a certain extent, that you shouldn't be welcome back to 1 game or 2. If you're gonna suspend a player for doing something ridiculous, you suspend. Like, look, I go to baseball games and I hear heckling all the time. I go to basketball. I've gone to basketball games and I hear, and it gets to a point. Sometimes the fans are there don't want to hear that junk, right?
It's annoying. I understand cursing and sexual references, racial, whatever. Mm-hmm. I think those people should be thrown out or asked to calm down with that language. But Westbrook and Cancun on 3, booing. I mean, that's what they paid money for the ticket. That's white noise. The players shouldn't pay any attention to that nonsense. There's 20,000 people in those arenas, you know?
But again, if there was security around there, if the coaching staff had more like if they were more aware, I feel like this could have been avoided. But
yeah,
I
just think it's the way Silver is. 2 years from now, if he's still the commissioner, they're going to have a Malice in the Palace type of incident. He would have gave those players like 15 games.
He would have given them boxing
stands and laying players out, laying people out.
He would have gave them boxing gloves.
Well, we have more time than I thought we would. What do you think about the Tennessee Titans signing former Cincinnati Bengal Tyler Boyd? That's 67 more catches they've added to the depth chart. How about that?
I think it's positive that they added to the depth chart. I don't see an upside there, right? I don't see that he's going to get more catches. I don't think.
No, what about the competition that adds, though?
I don't feel like it's to
the receiver room, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's a cushion more than it is anything else, because you still don't know what you're getting out of your quarterback in Levis. Like you're just banking on this guy to throw out in shotgun and everything, and the receivers to catch everything. That's not the reality, and we all know that.
Yeah,
they need to keep him standing first, and then they need to build a new running game second, because they lost their old running game. It's not the same anymore. So
yeah.
And the way they're structuring it and the way they're showcasing the Titans now, it's going to seem like they're going to try to throw the ball a lot more and not do anything to off balance that.
Yeah,
they're not going to replace. It's going to be hard to replace Henry. So
yeah,
and as a fan of running the ball and a fan of Henry, like, who's going to pick up that load? As far as
he would have been good with this new refined offensive line,
Right. So we'll see. Like I said, again, you're not adding to weapons. You're just getting a cushion to injuries. Because if you think about it in his catches and how he's been in the last 2 years at Cincinnati, he hasn't been he's not a top 10 wide receiver.
No, but I just think you add him to this room. This guy had 67 catches. He had more catches than the Titans' second leading receiver, which was Okonkwo, the tight end, had 54. And I was telling the audience the other day, Hopkins had 75 last year. And Calvin Ridley, their new addition from Jacksonville, had 76 catches. So, and you're adding 2,000-yard receivers here, or 8,000-yard receiver to offset. I read today that, Brian Callahan, the head coach, says they're going to scheme out a role for Burke. They still have a role for Trayvon Burks here, but this is a very competitive receiver room. I think it's the best they've had on paper since 2003 with Drew Brennett, Justin McCarons, Derek Mason, Aaron Kenny at tight end. This is a very talented. That year in 2003, by the way, that's the year Steve McNair won the MVP, if you recall.
Right.
He set the world on fire.
Again, they give him extra cushion, because that year too, then they lose McCarron's, and Bennett had to step up and got all those purpose
Bennett
yards.
was money.
Right.
Bennett got a second contract. He was a quarterback converted to a receiver.
And McCarron slowly got shoved out slowly. So, look, Burks is going to have some kind of effect, because he hasn't been able to stay on the field.
Pickle thinks he may be parking cars somewhere.
I don't think so.
He might have blown through his. I don't know. Chad Johnson, he blew through his rookie bonus pretty quick.
I think Treylon Burks still has some opportunity. Again, none of this will matter if Levis is, not up to par, and even, we might just see another Chad Pennington, right? A guy with a rifle that can't stay on the field.
Wow, Pennington was good. That means they'll be in the playoffs. I think they are playoff dark horse potential Super Bowl. Nobody's looking at the Titans to do anything.
Yeah, I've picked the Titans the last 2 years. This year,
well, I knew you were drinking a Kool-Aid then.
No, I wasn't drinking Kool-Aid. I just like the balance of the defense and the offense, but they couldn't stay healthy last year. So, we'll see where the Titans go this year. I'll pick them to go against in the playoffs in the first round. That's about it for now.
Well, I'll tell you, it all, like you said, it really depends on Levis.
It's too much depending on him, man. Like
Callahan, I didn't know he's worked with guys like Stafford. He's Joe Burrow. We all know about that. I do like the fact that the Titans are getting in the 21st century, like the Bears, where they're making it about protecting the quarterback, giving the quarterback the right kind of weapons, especially since the fact this is a second-year player here. Instead of saying, no, we're going to run the ball, we're going to stop the run, we're not going to make any turnovers, we're just going to play field position. That's all great, but that's all 1985 and up. That's very defensive minded head coach way of thinking, which has not been winning the Super Bowls in the last few years,
No, of course. But to that point also, like, you have to have balance somewhere, and it has to be, and you have to be able to give yourself an opportunity to win when you, and it wasn't the last coach's fault, but when you sign a person like Tannehill and he wasn't even barely on the field last year, you're already behind the 8 ball, man. Like, and then you have a running back that you could have signed, and he wasn't going to give you 1,500 yards, but he would have gave you at least 1,800 to 1,000 yards for sure. And now who's going to replace that? Who's going to replace him? Because it wasn't the yardage that he was gaining. It was how he was gaining the yards and how he could change the game. Right? I
don't think Tannehill signed anywhere. So the Titans made a good deal releasing him.
He should have
made the right move.
He should have been released 3 seasons ago.
Well, that goes to show you that they've made the right calls here. Maybe they could have worked out something with Henry. Maybe he just wanted to go to the Ravens in private. That being said, I like the Pollard pickup, but I do think Spears would be the starter, though. I think he's like their Breece Hall, the Titans, Breece Hall.
Yeah,
Jets running back.
I don't feel like those two guys combined will get more than 1,600 yards. I just feel like the way they're small,
they might not have that many attempts.
No, it's not even attempts. I just think they're small. The O-line's still kind of trying to figure its way out, and they're more likely to get injured and not be on the field because of their size. The quickness is great, but you don't got a guy making a hole for you, and consistently you can hit that little window, and just get up and go.
Pollard's going to be the power guy. He's a little heavier, and then your speed guy's going to be
heavier than his left foot, maybe, but he ain't that much heavier, and he still hadn't recuperated 100% from that injury, which he.
I think he will, though. I think he'll be fine.
That you sound like the guy who's going to pay his paycheck there, Robert.
Well, I wish they would have figured out a way to keep Henry for that role, especially since they end up drafting Latham there, J.C. Latham, because he's a great run blocker, power guy. That would have been good for Henry. Him and Sonorsky together, they would have blown that left side up, and that would have helped Henry.
It's good for Levis.
Get some traction,
Yeah, it's good for Levis, so he shouldn't make any excuses about not being able to use his arm because he.
Yeah.
But again,
they're going to use these guys the way that Cincinnati used Joe Mixon pickles.
No, Joe Mixon. Oh my God.
And Joe Mixon was okay. People think he's a little overrated.
I think he's overrated.
I think he's a little overrated.
Joe Mixon, like he been wanting to retire for the last 2 seasons, and then he came back for a paycheck.
He's lucky to ever get a job doing anything. How's that forkball show doing, man?
I haven't been able to, and I apologize to people who are looking forward to it. The last 2 weeks have been hectic. Had some family issues.
Okay.
Some kid issues that I'm gonna make a post in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
About, trying to get everything situated. It's
you still waiting on graduation? We're talking June.
Graduation for
for your kids or school being out? I'm sorry.
The school in New York don't end till almost July, bro. Like the last.
Really? They keep pushing it back, don't they?
No, it's always been in.
I thought you said it was in June.
June 24th. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
By the time school ends,
colleges here in Tennessee today.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I remember back in the day in May. You know, before end of May, everybody's already partying up. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Not here in New York, man. Here in New York, it's we got
they
a lot
don't go back to like Labor Day, right?
Yeah, we don't go back until the weekend after Labor Day, right?
Which is really cool.
It's all right.
You'd like to get them back in sooner?
I have great kids, man. I ain't worried about that. I just don't like that my family lives in the South, so I don't like that. I like when it's Easter break, they get a whole 2 weeks and we only get like 1 week. You know, when
wow.
Yeah, and then when it's like because of the way it's set up, so you know, I'd rather have the 2 to 3 week situation instead of the 1 week because they spread out the breaks. Because they'll do like Easter break and then a spring break, which you still get 2 weeks, but they're not together.
Yeah, it used to be before for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it'd be the other way around. It'd be spring break then Easter.
Yeah, because then I would love to go and you know even visit Florida or even Arizona and catch a few, like maybe have an opportunity to catch some spring ball, you know, but you know.
You know, I was down in Tampa last week, man, and the Devil Race Stadium's nice, man. It's St. Petersburg is about 23 miles from Tampa. So it's like from here, from Nashville to like Franklin, Murfreesboro area. Mm-hmm. It's practically on the beach. There's hardly anybody there. But it's a good-looking stadium. You know, they've only been around since 1998.
Yeah, man.
It's a good gym down there, Chief.
Yeah. But then they want a new stadium. They have that. They don't like that dome. They don't like that.
I like that dome.
They don't like it. It says bad for
baseball. Do they want an open stadium?
I'm not sure what they're wanting in Florida as far as, but I know they want a new stadium.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a nice place down there. That stadium always seems to be empty. I didn't go to the game. I drove past it.
You should have went to the game. You would have got a ticket.
Yeah, I was by myself looking at stuff, jobs and everything, and not sure I'm going to move down now. But I tell you what, that's a gym down there, man. It's always got a breeze. I think they could probably get away with an open stadium. Even in the summertime down there, it's a kind of a warm breeze. It's the Bay Area,
right?
It's Tampa Bay, you know, Tropicana Field. I should send you. I thought I sent you some. I'll send you some pictures, man. Clearwater Beach.
Clearwater's nice, yeah.
Yeah, you been down there, Clearwater?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, I used to travel for different games and tournaments and stuff.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah, Clearwater's about like Destin area.
Destin, yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Busch Gardens from a distance. I didn't see it up close, but I was looking at an apartment close by there, and you could see the freaking big old giant roller coaster. Busch Gardens. That town is interesting, man.
St.
Pretty
Petersburg,
spread out, huh?
St. Petersburg, Clearwater.
Yeah, Clearwater State. They're all about like a 30-mile circle around the city of Tampa. Tampa doesn't even have the skyline of Nashville. But it's you know, Pickle says it rains every day about 4:30. It didn't rain while I was there. I was there a couple of days, but it rains quickly and gets over with when it does.
4:30 on the dot. Yep.
It was 92 this time last week, man.
Woo!
And I didn't feel it though. I was driving around and went on the beach for a few minutes, took some pictures. And I'm like, yeah, this is kind of breezy through here. It's always breezy. I've been there before, but it was almost 20 years ago. My ex-brother-in-law. So, all right, Chief. Appreciate you coming on. And we'll see what happens here in the playoffs. Hopefully the Knicks are still in this thing next week. Give us something to.
Well, I mean, you know, I don't have high expectations. I just know that they're doing what they're doing, and it's not a bad thing. So it's good for NBA basketball to see.
My bad.
It's good for the NBA to see team style basketball for, you know.
Yeah. I love that arena. Thanks for coming on. Thank you all for showing up. A little premature there. Have a good night, man.
Bye.